We're following the remains of an abandoned rail trail built over a century ago.
North and East Manitoba have got fire bans, backcountry bans, because of the high quantity of uncontrolled forest fires. It's been a pretty bad year. So, we are in southwestern Manitoba, checking out stuff that we haven't seen before. Our first adventure is down Snow Valley Road. Leary Brickworks. No trespassing.
Leary Brickworks is one of Manitoba's last surviving early 1900s brick plants, once producing thousands of bricks for schools, barracks, and other public buildings across the province. Today, the site still holds its towering chimney, beehive kiln, and crumbling drying sheds, but it sits on private property and is in an advanced state of structural decay. Because of unsafe conditions and landowner restrictions, the site is strictly off limits to the public, no trespassing.
Snow Valley Road is a windy, very leisurely gravel road, lots of private property around here. We are going to go head up another trail, which I think is an old rail line that's been removed, and is probably a snowmobile track in the wintertime. We took that side trail, and there's a bit of a washout here, but it's passable, very so much so, and then we hit a fork in the road. So I got to look at the map, figure out which one's public and which one's private.
It's been a dry year, and I'm assuming that these low-level crossings are typically submerged after it rains.
There's nothing flowing through this culvert. Looks like there's a bit of a washout some time ago, but it's not fully collapsed and we could totally get past this. So it looks like there was used to be a bridge decommissioned a long time ago. Now the trail has this nice rock crossing and a bit of a cliffside. Yeah, this place is pretty cool. Nice stop for a stop, get some fresh air, listen to the birds, rinse my hands off in the nice cool creek. The water is clearer than expected, it's not muddy. This type of terrain is a bit unusual for Manitoba. It's neat because you can see the erosion and all this stuff fell off, but it's brittle. I don't know if it's rock or just solid clay. I'm not a geologist.
As we followed this old trail along the creek, we started wondering why a rail line would have been built down here in the valley. It seemed odd. Why would it not have been much easier to run the tracks up on the flat prairie above? But as it turns out, there is a reason for it. Back in 1905, the Canadian Northern Railway built this line through the valley to connect two small towns. And for a cement plant that opened in 1907, at its peak about 50 people worked at the plant. When the operation shut down in 1924, most of the buildings were dismantled or moved away. It was Manitoba's second cement factory, and it produced what's known as natural cement, made from the valley's gray, calcareous mudstone. The material was hauled out from the valley, loaded onto horse-drawn carts, and pulled along rails to the factory. Eventually, this rail line was abandoned and removed. If you look closely, you can still spot traces of the old rail bed, and imagine what it might have looked like when this valley echoed with the sounds of carts, workers, and steam engines.
Wow, this is such a fun trail. We're out of the bush, we're out of the valley, following Roselle Creek. That was a lot of fun. I did not expect that. I wasn't sure if we were going to hit a dead end or a creek where we had to turn around and go back, but no, we didn't. We made it out. We're on a road allowance between two farmers' fields, and the highway is just over there. So, time to go find ourselves some lunch, maybe a thrift store. Cold beer would be nice. Time for some lunch. We're in the Pembina Valley Wildlife Management Area, and we just took a side trail going down to Grassy Lake. Grassy Lake. So this dam was built around 1955, which created the lake. Yeah, this is a pretty sweet spot. Probably do some fishing, some swimming if you wanted to. We ran into some folks at the dam. They did mention that don't come in here when it's wet. Way too much mud. It's impassable, even for quads. Like you'd have to come back with a tractor to pull you out. So I'm glad it's dry out for us to go out this weekend.
Thank you for joining us on this little trip through Manitoba's forgotten trails and history. Subscribe for more off-the-map adventures.